Hi guys, I hope you've had a good week. So today we're going to go through making a real-time clock in Unreal Engine, and this is the styling that I'm using for this clock: hours, minutes, seconds. I'm going to give you a quick overview for everyone who's really good at Unreal Engine already, and then I'll give a more detailed step by step right after that. Now, the first thing that you Now, the first thing that you really need is, of course, you're going to create a UI element and attach it to the screen. I set it up with the basic hours, minutes, seconds. All of those are set up as text boxes. Now, the important part, the key, is that we have an event tick that updates those variables and it gets the information from a node known as the now node. You can just type out now inside of Unreal Engine Blueprints and you'll get access to the now node. And we have it updating basically every frame. So you'll have access to year, month, day, hours. It's a very good node and I recommend using it. And now the much more precise explanation for everyone else. So let's make a real-time clock inside of Unreal Engine. So the first thing is we need a basic project. The project file being used for this is the third person project, but you can use any that you are comfortable with. So when you press play in the editor, you basically have this third person character that is able to move around. Now, the concept is this simple. We're going to get the PC clock and timing. We're going to get that information and put it in Unreal Engine. And then we want to update a blueprint that is a UI inside of Unreal Engine. And that's all you need to get a working clock inside of UE. Okay, so if you press Control and Space Bar, you're going to bring the menu. Always have a simple folder for interface files. I'm calling it user interface here. And then you want to go into that. And then if you right click, you're going to get the option to create something. And what we want to create is something called a user interface. Now scroll down up to the bottom and you'll see the ability to create widgets. Create a user interface widget and select a basic user widget. And once you have that set up, you have your widget. I'm going to rename it. And for this one, I'm just going to rename it and call it clock. That's all. Then double click on it to open it up. All right, so inside of it, the first thing we want is we want to set up a canvas. The canvas basically decides on the size of the screen. So go into that left options, type out canvas, and drag and drop the canvas panel. Just drag and drop it, into our scene. So there we are. And now in the top right area, there's going to be a button with like a little mouse symbol. Just select that, it's zoom to fit, so that it zooms to fit the canvas to the screen. So you have like a stable place to work. Now we want to put in some text elements. So you can just type into the palette text and we won't get a rich text block. We'll get a basic text block. That's really what we want to be using. So just get it and drag it in. So now we have our text block on top of our canvas. But we want to get that text block and just duplicate it. So Control C on your keyboard and Control V twice. So we'll set up one for hours, one for minutes, and the other for seconds. And we'll also change their names and change those from inside of the browser for the elements. So once you have hours, minutes, and seconds set up, go to the details panel and under content, change the text, of hours to hours, the text of minutes to minutes, and the text of seconds to seconds. So we now will have that inside. Then once set them up side by side, just to begin. So now we have our hours, our minutes, and our seconds. So this will give us the base order, but to really organize them properly, we're going to need a horizontal container. So go back to the palette, type horizontal, and then you'll get access to a horizontal box. Drag it into the world, and then we want to resize it to contain that text that we're going to be using. Once we have it set to a reasonable size, then you want to select everything from hours to seconds all at once and make them a child of the horizontal box. And what that's going to do is they're all going to be organized into that horizontal box effectively, which is very, very good for us. Once you have that set up, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to select hours, minutes, and seconds and increase their size to fill. Changing their size to fill in the details now makes them, fill up the entire space. Then align them horizontally. That's just for the text. This isn't too much, but this should be enough for us to add in our clock. Now that our text blocks are well organized, the next thing we'll do, select them all and set them up to be variables by clicking on is variable in their details. That lets us access their data and change and adapt the data with them. So that's good. We're pretty much done with changing the user interface blueprint. Now, the next thing is to simply display it in the world. Now, to do that, just find the blueprint of your character for the third person. It's called BP third person character. And inside of that, it has a lot of nodes already, but all we want to do is to create a begin play node. The begin play node is fired off whenever the game starts, so this character loads in. Then from the event begin play, just drag it out and we want to type out construct and construct from class. And inside the class, type in clock, which is the user interface we want to, bring into the world. Of course, at this point, if you press play, nothing's going to show up because it's not really attached to anything. So you want to go back in and then right after the event construct, we want to add a simple add to viewport. And once you add to viewport, make sure the return value is that user interface element. And now, basically, you can see it there, hours, minutes, seconds, done. All right, now that that's working correctly in Engine, just head back to the clock and then switch from designer mode to graph mode so that you're going to have access to the blueprints. Now, inside of the blueprints, we're going to use the event tick because it plays basically every frame. And then we shall look for the now node and add that to the event tick. So just by right clicking and searching for now, you get access to the date time, split the structure so that you can see you'll have access to everything from year, month, day, basically down to the millisecond. This is the most useful part of getting a clock in Unreal Engine. Now we'll start with hours. Drag in the hours variable that we created. Basically, it gives us access to that text. Now from that text element, we shall drag it out and just type out set text. That will set the text. Now it will say on the widget, but that's not the one you want to use. You want to choose content, set text, and that's going to change the content there. So just drag in the event tick, and then you want to head over to the now node and select hour, and boom, voila. It does some basic changing from integer to text. That's okay. And now notice that the hour value is set to 10. That's good. Let's do the same thing now for minute and then for seconds. We drag in the minutes. We make sure to set text. It's the same thing as before. We drag in the amount of minutes. Make sure that the nodes are all connected so they fire up, compile, play, boom. So we have the hours it is, and yes, that's the correct time, my end. It even went up, it's 10 a.m. and 2 minutes past. And then last but not least, let's set it up for the seconds. It's the same thing. We simply set the text, drag this in, and then we go back into the window. And there you go. You have a working clock inside of Unreal Engine displaying the real world time. Now, that's the basics. You can style it however you want. Just for this simple example, I'm going to style it by going in and adjusting the positioning of the characters. Let me first adjust the size of it a bit. I'm going to adjust the positioning of the characters to be more in the middle when it comes to the horizontal alignment. And once that's done, look at how it looks when you compile. Okay, that's not bad at all. Next, I want a background. So to get a background, I'm going to type in image in the palette, drag that out, and make sure it's well positioned. It is currently white. I just want to make sure that it's in the right background position. Then I'm going to change it to a much darker color because I want the text to be white. And then move those two to a different place on the screen because I don't want them to just be in the center. Maybe in the top right is going to be more appropriate. Do some basic compiling. And there you go. You have your clock in the top right area of the screen. Now, you can go on, edit it however you like, and do a lot more things with that information. Otherwise, I hope this has been useful to you, and you have a great week ahead. Okay.